You're listening to the Zoe Turner Podcast, business and mindset conversations that will help you move from fear and uncertainty to development and growth so that you can crush both life and business. Please welcome your host, Zoe Turner.
Hi, my name is Zoe Turner, and you're listening to the Zoe Turner Podcast. On today's podcast, I would like to share with you a technique that I've been using for many years now. And it was in particular a technique that I used to use on a daily basis when I first started my job 10 years ago in Dubai in financial services. It's a visualization technique, and I believe that using this on a daily basis helped prime my subconscious mind to believe in myself and to perform as well as I did and to have my $40,000 months. Bearing in mind, guys, I was working in a cutthroat, high-powered sales environment. I didn't have a sales background. In fact, I'd never sold anything in my life. So how on earth did I land this job? Let me take you back a little bit. It was 10 years ago and I lived in the UK. I was desperately unhappy in my job as a child protection social worker, managing a property portfolio of a few houses that I'd invested in. And alongside of that, I was also juggling my hypnotherapy and my coaching. As a result, I was burnt out, I was unfulfilled, and I was pretty miserable. So when I got an opportunity to move to the UAE, and Dubai in particular, to pursue a career in the cutthroat world of financial services, I actually jumped at the chance. I remember my first few weeks vividly. Arriving in the office, I felt like something out of The Apprentice. I'd bought a whole new wardrobe, ready to start my new career in financial services. Some people were very welcoming, some people not so. The reason they probably weren't is because the staff retention in financial services is pretty high. And that's because it's such a challenging and difficult role to do. It's a commission-only role. And if you're not getting the sales, you're not performing, you're out the door basically. Now, despite having zero experience in sales, I managed to land myself this fantastic opportunity. And I basically took the bull by the horns. My first few weeks in Dubai were such a culture shock for me. I do remember driving down Beach Road and just thinking, wow, this is incredible. I'd never been anywhere so lavish and clean. Dubai would never have been on my wish list of places to visit. I'm definitely more of what's the best way to say this? More of an authentic, not that Dubai is not authentic, but I'm not really into all the kind of Vegas glitz, bright lights and glamour. Definitely more kind of suited to a cobbled Italian street or being in Spain or, somewhere with a lot of character and history. However, here I was in Dubai, complete and utter culture shock for me. Working as a social worker in the UK, I was used to dealing with, we didn't call them clients, we called them service users. It was interesting. I would quite often go to service users' houses and I'd be sat on their sofas, it would be wet, and you'd be wondering if it was spilt water or if it was pee. And then I do remember on a couple of occasions, the parents just smirking and smiling, probably knowing that I was sat in pee. Anyway, I do digress. Moving to Dubai was In many ways, it was incredible. Lunch was replaced from a Greg's pasty or a cheese and onion sandwich to sometimes lunch at the Burj Al Arab, which is the world's only 7-star hotel. Anyway, so here I am, I'm ex-social worker, never sold a thing in her life, arrive in this office where I can see people are making $40,000, $60,000 a month. And I'm thinking, wow, selling financial services, bearing in mind I knew nothing about finance. But what I did know is that I had a lot of determination and I had a lot of resources within me that I knew I could draw on to help me with this experience. And that's what I did. I also had quite a few tools in my kit, my tools being hypnotherapy tools, and I decided I would use them. So on a daily basis, I would sit in the car park, I'd look at the building where I worked, and I would visualize myself standing on top of the building with my hands in the air. I'm going to go into this practice in a little bit more in depth in a minute, but I did this every single day for months. I would visualize in my mind's eye me conquering the business and me being a success. Now I have to say, I was a success. It wasn't easy. It certainly did not happen overnight, but gradually, over time, with consistency, determination, and self-belief, I did it. And within 14 months, I was writing business and earning an income that I'd only ever dreamed of. And I truly believe that the few minutes a day that I invested in visualization helped me achieve what I did. It's probably worth mentioning that I'm no longer in financial services. After a few years in the industry, I decided to leave as I didn't feel fulfilled. But the technique that I used then is still one that I use today regularly. And it's actually called the swish. It's a technique that I learned in my hypnotherapy training. And the purpose of the swish technique is to program the mind to go into a new direction. It's a very useful technique for habit control. So it's good if you smoke or you have weight issues. When you use the swish, you're setting up a new direction so that you are drawn towards that image of yourself the way you want you to be. And more importantly, it enables you to believe that you can quickly and easily make the changes in the way that you want to. The effectiveness of this technique depends most important on getting yourself to answer this question. If you made this change, how would you see yourself differently? Quite often in life we say things like, oh, I don't see myself ever being able to do that. This technique allows you to see yourself doing something differently. It's incredibly powerful. If it can help an ex-social worker who'd never sold a thing in her life to moving to Dubai in the cutthroat work of financial services and having $40,000 months, then I'm sure it can help you. This is how it goes. First of all, I'd like you to identify what you would like to change about yourself. It could be something simple as stopping smoking, losing weight. Maybe you want to be more motivated. Maybe you would like to travel more, better relationships, find your life partner. It could be anything. But I want you to identify what that is. Now I'd like you to picture a very, very big TV screen or a cinema screen. And I'd like to ask you to put the picture on the television screen of what you see in the situation just before you start doing the behavior that you don't like. So let's say, for instance, you would like to have better relationships. Now, think about the behavior that you're presenting that is preventing you from having positive relationships right now. Now I want you to visualize that image and make it big. And now, once you've done that, I would like you to experience the emotion and the feeling that you feel about yourself when you're undertaking or expressing this type of behavior. It could be shame, it could be embarrassment, it could be regret. Really associate the emotion that you feel with the image. I know this is not going to be pleasant, but you have to do this if you're going to eradicate it from your subconscious mind. Now I'd like you to create a second image of how you would see yourself differently if you've already achieved the accomplished desired change. When you have this image, I want you to put it in the right-hand corner of the screen. And again, really want you to take your time over this. Visualize how you feel when you've accomplished what you want to do. So maybe if it's better relationships, imagine yourself in the relationship. Imagine yourself being in love. Feel the emotion. Feel the desired feelings that you feel when you've achieved your dream. And now, when I say the word swish, I'd like you to make this small picture in the top right hand corner grow bigger and bigger until it completely obliterates the original negative picture. Swish. That's it. Make it as big. Make it as bold, make it as bright as you possibly can. Feel the emotion. Feel the joy. Make that image as big and as bold and as bright as you can. Now, after a few seconds, I'd like you to clear the screen. That's good. I'd like you to repeat this process 5 times, making sure to blank the screen at the end of each swish. Don't rush the process. Do it 5 times. That's good. And again, I'd like you to picture a television screen, very big television screen, and imagine what you see yourself do in the situation that you don't like, the negative behavior that you don't like, that you keep doing. What do you do in that situation? What are the feelings and emotions that you feel? For instance, if you're trying to stop smoking, imagine how you feel when you're reaching over and you're taking a cigarette, or after you've just finished the cigarette. What are those feelings that you feel? Is it disgust? Is it shame? Is it embarrassment? Whatever the situation is, the negative situation that you would like to change in your life, I want you to picture it. Picture what you do before you start doing that, and make the emotion as big and as bold. Just make that really clear in your mind. Feel the shame that you feel when you're undertaking that activity. That's good. Now, I'd like you to create a second image. And this image includes how you would see yourself differently if you've already accomplished the desired change. And once you have this image, I'd like you to put it in the top right-hand corner of the television screen. And again, I want you to feel the emotion, feel the joy, feel the happiness that you feel when you're undertaking and when you've accomplished what you would like to achieve. In a moment, I will say the word swish. And when I do, I want you to let the small picture in the top right hand corner grow bigger and bigger until it obliterates the original picture. Swish. That's it. Watch it as it obliterates that original picture and make it as big and as bold and as bright. Feel the emotion. Feel the positive joy and the feelings that you experience when you've created and when you've accomplished your desired outcome. Take some time now to enjoy that feeling of satisfaction and accomplishment, and allow the feelings to permeate every cell of your body. Allow them to permeate your heart and your mind. That's good. Don't rush this process. It's important that you take your time. That's good. And once the picture is as big and as bold and as close and as bright as it possibly can be, and you can feel the emotions in your heart and in your mind, I'd like you to blank the screen a second time. I'd like you to complete this process 3 more times. So again, you picture the television screen and you picture yourself undertaking the negative behavior that you don't like that you do. Feel the emotion. Watch it all on the big, big screen. And then once you've done that, you create a second image. And the second image is an image of how you're feeling and what you're doing when you've accomplished your desired outcome. And make the emotions as big and feel them within every cell and every bone of your body. Feel them in your heart and feel them in your mind. And then say swish. And when you say swish, you allow the positive image to obliterate the negative image. And take a moment to enjoy the feeling of accomplishment and satisfaction. You do this process 5 times in total. I'm going to let the music play to allow you to finish this off.